And then a long time after that was when I kind of started playing with like an electric toothbrush. Actually, no, it was an electric razor first, which was very dangerous. But I always feel like I'm gonna hit it.
I know. So we'll take a moment, make sure that we get all our angles right, looking good in the camera, all set. Thank you so much for being here, Lexi. We really appreciate you taking part in this series.
I'm from the Midwest, as many of my fans know, and I grew up in a very normal little town, and I just always was very like intelligent, and I stayed to myself. I was kind of didn't have a lot of like girlfriends or guy friends, but I did always have more guy friends than girlfriends. And just it's just small family, so it's just easy to grow up in the Midwest like that. Had aspirations of maybe being an accountant or a teacher, which is like it in the Midwest. So neither one of those turned out to work. So here we are. I was actually approached on a social media platform called fetlife.com, very familiar to a lot of my fetish friends. It's where I kind of started exploring and learning about my fetish side and my kinks and interests and more of just my general sexuality. When I took a teaching job in Florida, I found a great place called the Woodshed in Florida, and it was so nice, and everybody was so welcoming. And I got to learn a lot of things about safely, sanely, and consensually playing in the kink world. It was a time where I was developing my kink interests, so it was like the perfect time to learn about how to do everything in the right way. And I think that really was probably my best education when it comes to being on a set like this, for example, where, you know, learning how to advocate for yourself as a fetish bottom or even a fetish top sometimes is hard to be able to tell somebody else in the middle of something how to like kind of stop that flow. And it really has helped me on set to advocate for myself in all of my life. I noticed that at the doctor's office, I advocate for myself more. So really it just kind of opened my eyes. And I learned a lot of different topics at the Woodshed. They had a lot of classes and a lot of things that interested me, and me being a more education-minded person, I really flocked to that and just was able to learn so much about different types of play and how to do it both as a bottom and as a top, and we got to experiment and experience it in a safe environment, and it really just solidified how much I liked that community and these people who the rest of society considered freaks, right? And now here I am feeling right at home, and like finally I found my people that I couldn't find when I was younger. Yeah, I don't necessarily remember the very first time, but I remember like around the first like exploration of my vagina, mostly my clit. That was like my jam back then. Because I didn't, you know, like putting fingers inside you is like very weird for a girl. Like if you've never experienced that, it's just like, you know, putting your fingers in a hole is different. And it was something that I never really thought about, and the clitoral stimulation was just so good that I didn't really need to think about anything else at the time. It was always like kind of over the panties, a little bit of like this kind of motion, not really like a rubbing up and down. Because like, you know, you got to think when you're first like touching yourself and exploring your body, everything's super sensitive. Nothing's been like manipulated before. So it's like you're just experiencing it all for the first time, and like the lightest touch can do it. You're like, and you come. Which is like the fun part about being young and and exploring and all of that kind of stuff. It was definitely more like a hand thing. I didn't have the toothbrush or the vibrating things. That came later as I like started to use more tools to masturbate. I actually did one of those sex parties where they have like a bunch of different toys and they tell you to like touch it to the tip of your nose because it's like the most sensitive spot aside from your clit. And I'm like, is it? I do remember the gap because at the beginning it was just like almost like it tickles, feels good, but it didn't like I don't feel like we can tickle ourselves. But it was almost like that same feeling that if somebody else was doing it, I'd be rolling on the floor laughing. But because I was doing it, it's like actually felt good. And then a long time after that was when I kind of started playing with like an electric toothbrush. Actually, no, it was an electric razor first, which was very dangerous. But but like the handle vibrated to like try to make the hair stand up. I don't know. But I took the top off and I just used the handle.
I was gonna ask you, did you turn it?
Yeah.
We
took the blades off. I'm not that wild. I hosted the party. The girl comes in and she's got bags of sex toys and they're all like for display, and she's got different things to sample. Like there were like lubes and different creams and perfumes and pheromone things and all that kind of stuff. And she basically just lays things out on a table and then like tells you that you could try and turn on and manipulate anything you want, and that the tip of the nose trick where she's like, this is like the most sensitive place right next to your clit. And I was like, I don't feel anything. Like, I don't know. You don't know what strength you need, because it's not the same as the tip of your nose. I'm just here to tell anybody who has been informed of that is a myth. And you got to try it directly on the clit. And that is the only place that it feels like it's on the clit. So for anybody out there who's been misinformed. So yeah, after kind of exploring and learning about all the different toys, that some were just like, that's way too much, like the rabbits that like vibrate and jackhammer, and then there's like a little rabbit piece that goes like this, and I'm like, I don't even know where all those parts are supposed to go, so I'm just gonna skip out on that one. I got this pretty little purple, and I liked it because you could kind of see like the mechanics inside of it, so it was almost like a little see-through. It was like a pretty little purple thing that was like this, and then it had like a tiny little hook. And let me tell you, this thing had 2 speeds. It was hard and hardest, and there was nothing in between. So you are like, and I'm thinking like, this is small enough, I'm supposed to put this inside myself because it has this little hook, and that was like for the G spot. Mind you, I have no idea where this is at the time that I'm playing with this toy, so I'm just kind of like vibrating it over my panties, and the vibration is so intense. It is stronger than any of the magic wands or anything else that I have ever tried, and this thing rocked my world. I think I masturbated for like 3 hours. I would do it for a little bit, and then I would stop, and then I'd like go back to it, and then just me hanging out with myself, just vibrating and I don't know that if I came or if I didn't come or what was going on, if I came every time, but I don't remember like a distinct like, this must be an orgasm time, until probably 3 or 4 years later, where I was like really like, oh, inside vibration not good, over top vibration very good. That it's shameful that we are a vessel for carrying life, and that is our only purpose in life. It's just one of those things that when you think about the political climate and all the other things, other pieces that impact people, not just women, but like all those things, when you hear in the media conversations about women's bodies that don't necessarily always include the women, it just is very disheartening and very disingenuous for the people who are doing that kind of advocacy work, if you can call it that. But really just the misconception that there's anything to be ashamed of. Shame is the control, fear is the control. Like that's how women have been controlled for centuries. And unfortunately, it's hard to get the message out, and it's hard to feel it yourself. I remember when I first started performing, and I had to literally like think of myself as the character that I was playing and feel like this isn't me doing this is that character. And at the beginning, it was just a way to calm my nerves. Now it's a way to really excel at being that character, because I don't find it's disingenuous to act like something else and to be, in front of a camera and to just like do your thing. And that is really kind of what helped me open up my eyes to role playing. I always was like, oh, I could never talk during sex. Because you don't think about it as something that is, because it's such an intimate experience, like you're almost always just closing your eyes because you're so maybe embarrassed, ashamed, afraid, like what are they going to think? What am I going to think? Am I going to like it? Are they going to, there's so much going on that it's hard to just let go and just be there. And I feel that like practicing, moaning and just doing it more and more, it just made me feel so much more empowered to like take control and to speak about things during sex that didn't have to do with pleasing the man or like moaning for him or whatever else. It was always just like, oh no, I like this. And because I'm already used to using my voice in that scenario, because I'm already starting to do little whispers and moans and like training myself to talk during that time of intimacy, it just kind of made it easier to point out things I like or don't like, and to just quickly be like, oh, right here, and then move on with the other. Like it doesn't have to be like a stop all action kind of thing. So really, there are just so many different levels, and I feel like the misconception is that there is one right way to have sex, and there just isn't. That everybody's different. Every 2 bodies are going to fit together differently. Yeah, so I really fell into this community, in such a nice way. I was just ending a relationship. It was long term and I was looking for something different. And I just kind of started typing in fetish things into a search bar, and I ended up on fetlife.com. It felt like, you know, a place where I could explore kinky interests, maybe meet some people in real life, and maybe even see some kink play that was unlike anything I had seen before or experienced before. And finding this little community of people where I didn't feel judged or ostracized or anything like that. Everybody was so like, oh, well, what kind of impact play do you like? And oh, what kind of, you know, what kinds of things are you into? And it was just so much more of an exploratory learning about you than it was, what do you like so I can judge you for it, right? And that is the thing that really I don't see a lot of in that community. Everybody in the world has something that they know that they are like, I'm keeping this to myself because people are going to think this is weird. And, you know, I'm no different than that. So it was just one of those things where I've really kind of found the right group of people at the right time who appealed to my desire to learn at the moment and my desire to explore my sexual interests and to push myself and push my boundaries. And so once I started doing these classes and discovering that like, oh, like it's totally acceptable to ask for what you want. And it's totally acceptable to, in the middle of getting what you want, not want it anymore. and that it's fluid and that those kinds of things aren't anything to be ashamed of, that it's just an adjustment. But if you don't say anything, you'll never be fully satisfied with the experience that you have, because it truly wasn't what you wanted and you didn't let it evolve over time. The thing that I really enjoyed in kink was I was a heavy impact bottom. I did anything and everything to get a bruise on my ass. I loved it. I loved the impact. I loved just like the feeling of it. I loved the bruising afterward, the process, the aftercare, all of it. Every part of it was just like, yes, all of this. I loved to bottom for that. I never topped it. I never really was like into a sexual gratification or a personal gratification in the topping in that aspect. There was too much potential to hurt someone that I couldn't fully fall into it, and I didn't want to not be paying attention enough. So I was always just too worried about the bottom in that aspect that I couldn't give the care that was needed at the time that it was needed. So that was one place where I only dabbled in the bottom. So that was just really fun to help other people experience new things and help them learn it in a safe, sane, and consensual way, and to also get to kind of perform a little bit. So that's all parts of me as well. So that was the whole, the Fat Life experience, and like learning and figuring out what works for me and what fetishes I have. And that was actually the first time before I ever entered porn that somebody was like, you know, you could make money off of your feet. And I was like, why? Right? Because I just didn't get it. I didn't understand the foot fetish. And every time I would go to an event at the woodshed, all the guys would always want to massage my feet, rub my feet, do this. And I was like, this is great, right? I'm getting my feet rubbed. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, what were they doing? You know, like, and thinking back on the guy who told me I should make money off of my feet was like very interesting. A time where I was on the cusp of being in the industry and actually making money off my feet. It just didn't register how that would possibly work and how these videos would possibly work. And I think about it now and I'm like, gosh, if only I had started then. The number one thing to prioritize my sexual wellness is really just paying attention to my body and not stretching it, not pushing it to the limits, and just letting myself feel like, oh, is something going on? I feel like something's going on. And then listening to myself, paying attention to signs and signals that your body's giving you, because, you know, if you just look inward, you'll find the truth of what's happening. And, you know, just making sure to keep sugar away from the vagina. And it's, when you think about it, like, oh, strawberries and chocolate, so sexy in bed, but then there's sugar and then there's problems, and, you know, and it's very shameful. Again, we come back to the shame of being a woman and exploring your body and being sexual. And when it's like you've had this sexy experience and then you get like this shameful experience of having to go and get medication and resolve the problem that the sugar caused, and, you know, just like tears you down. It makes you not want to be sexual, and it just kind of takes away a piece of your womanhood as well. So just prioritizing that is so important, and researching before you take all the antibiotics and the constant, because one causes another, causes a third, and it can be a mess. So finding something that works for your body might not be the same thing that works for everybody. That is a loaded question. So because I'm a performer and because I am actively shooting for companies, I'm doing cam shows, I'm performing for fans, all those different pieces, I really don't masturbate. I feel like sometimes like male talent where I'm like, I only have so many orgasms in me. Like I can't give you more than this. So that is the tricky part. I would say I get off the most on cams because it's just like a constant, everybody wants to control the toy, everybody wants to make me come. It's a coming environment. Everybody else is coming, so it just feels like it's an easy time to just like go one after the other. And because I'm there by myself and I can put myself in any position that I want, I just grab my favorite toy and I go for it. So that's really the routine. It's more like I'm coming for work, but it still counts because I still get all the benefits of coming.
I was going to say, it's a great perk of the job.
Yeah.
Not everybody can say they have for sure.
Oh, I can't think about anything because it's too distracting. Like I'm very much a physical sensation kind of person. Like I don't need a visual. I don't need the storyline. I'm the one that fast forwards all the porn. That's me. So I don't really need to think about anything. For me, it's just like, okay, hit the right spot and then wait a few seconds and then like we're getting there. So it really no mental images. No, I never really masturbated to porn. I never really like got off on photos. I can appreciate like a hot guy with his rippling abs. I'm thinking like a Nathan Bronson, right? So like I can appreciate that on a magazine cover, but like it doesn't turn me on. It's just like it's like a physical masterpiece. Start by closing your eyes. Honestly, dark room, start like you would the first time when you're feeling nervous having sex with somebody for the first time. It's like close all the sensory pieces off so you don't have to feel like awkward or embarrassed. Like you don't have to watch your chest heave. You don't have to do anything. You put yourself under the covers. That's how I first started. Totally under the covers, totally like secret, quiet, just like quietly coming. But just start doing it. The more you touch yourself, the more comfortable you feel with yourself, the more comfortable you'll feel around other people touching you and you touching yourself in front of them. It's just close your eyes. It's the windows to the soul, right? So just shut the windows, shut the blinds, and relax and enjoy it. And if you need to, do it in secret until you feel more confident to not do it in secret. Maybe pull the covers back one day and get wild.